In here. Okay, once I get my bearings on, we can go on now. Listen, guys, Kelly Ripa, she is opening. We all know her, right?
Yeah.
Of course, Kelly. So she's now opening up about her relationship with Regis Philbin, R.I.P. So she's got you already know this is salacious doing. Oh, she's got a brand new book, and it turns out that it wasn't her relationship with him anyway. It was not what it looked like on TV. She did an interview with USA Today, and she says their friendship, well, it didn't actually really even exist. IRL, in real life. Okay, so I feel like a lot of people, just like our show, people get to know us. They think our relationships are real. They're not. I'm just kidding. Relationships are real. But you're our guest here. I mean, what do you make of this story? Does it surprise you at all?
Yeah, it does, because they seemed really, friendly.
Yeah.
So I bought it, and I still want to buy it, but I guess I can't. I think it's really important, to have, that friendship dynamic if you're working every day with each other,
Right, yeah. You spend a lot of hours with your colleagues, and so I can't imagine getting up every day. First of all, I will say that I watched that show when they were together, and I don't know, did you pick up on that at all? I thought they maybe had a little bit of a sort of like dad-daughter teasing, kind of like a ribbing sort of thing. But I do remember distinctly once it switched over and it was Kelly and Michael. You and I were in the makeup chair, and this was right around the time when Michael was about to leave, and you called it. You were like, oh, there is some tension going on here. You can pick it up, and I guess I must be terrible at picking up tension, because I didn't sense it at all.
We were in the makeup room watching them, and I have had, we've done TV for a long time, and I've had several co-hosts, and I don't know, maybe I'm projecting, but sometimes I think a lot of times when I'm watching, I'm like, I feel like I know what's really going on. And so we were watching them on TV that day, and I was like, oh my gosh, Cynthia, this tension on TV, it's very uncomfortable to watch. Like, it's almost like they couldn't hide it. And then a couple weeks later, this whole story broke about how he was leaving, and then she felt betrayed and all of those things. So, and I say that because I actually don't think you have to be best friends with the people, at least on TV, with the person you're working with. Now, I know that seems contradictory. Again, for the record, the women on the show, we actually really do like each other.
They do.
Don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah, I would attest to it. They do. They actually do get along. I'm backstage. I would tell you guys all the tea. They're actually friends. Well, I'm just a guest here, so I'm like, well, no, I'll tell you guys.
Oh my God, Andrea Bates' tell-all book is coming out.
You know what, actually, thank you, thank you. You know what's so funny? You guys say you didn't notice the rift between Kelly and Regis. I used to watch all the time, and I felt like I saw it all the time. He was mean as a snake to her sometimes. Ooh. And what I felt bad for her, because I'm like, she was in a battle that she couldn't win because he was a more established host. Everybody knew him, everybody loved him. And when he was mean to her, what could she do? She was a young woman off a soap opera. What was she gonna do, yell back? But I saw her oftentimes, he would say something really mean, and I'd just see her look at Gelman, because Gelman's always off to the side. And I'd see her give Gelman like you seeing this? But what was she gonna do, right? And let's talk about that Strahan situation. I didn't pick up on any of the stuff that you saw them in person. But what I thought was interesting is that she doesn't touch the relationship or the 4 years that Michael was on the show in her book. And that was very interesting, because the thing that she complains about with Regis is that she had to earn her way up. She had to fight for a computer, she had to fight for her space. But when Michael got there, that's kind of what she did to him. And he's taken the high road, and he says, I thought when I came here that I was gonna be a co-host, but instead I feel more like a sidekick.
Can I throw a different spin on this?
Wait. The rumor was she was doing the same thing to him, where he had to take the smaller rooms. She was always making sure that she got stuff, and she was bothered if he got something that she didn't get. That, of course, is all the rumors, but we saw the way things ended, and she said she felt blindsided when he got the job at Good Morning America. And I know you have an opinion about that, so.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say about that is I don't disagree. I think there was part of that, like, okay, who's the new young gun on the scene? And I think in our industry, and maybe yours as well, it's like there is something to be said for like looking at the young up-and-comers and like saying, you also have to work as hard as I did. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened to her. I do think Regis, she represented something to Regis, and it wasn't a good thing. He was a reminder that he was getting older.
True.
And she was a reminder that she was going to replace him one day because he was maybe becoming increasingly irrelevant. I don't know. I'm just trying to get in his head.
Yeah.
So I think she represented, I don't know if it was about her, but more about what she represented. But with Michael, especially with the way things went out in the end, what we learned, I don't know whose side you're on in that, but what we learned is that it sounds like...
Sorry.
I think the execs did her dirty. I think the execs did her dirty. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think that maybe it was misplaced anger on her part.
Yep.
He came in with all of this machine and all of the bosses saying, we love him. And she's like, excuse me, I've been holding down this show since Regis left.
Yep.
Where's my thanks? And you're just gonna push me aside like I don't matter? I think some of that was working.
I don't think she got pushed. I think he got promoted and she was like, wait a second, you're right. But she, like, no one told her about it, but it seemed like she was putting all the blame on Michael, right? And it's like, listen, if Michael got another job and he announced on the show, which we have seen hosts do that, announced to everybody in the moment, oh, by the way, I quit, and you can see everybody's face, but that wasn't the deal. Because Good Morning America and the live show are all under the same umbrella of ABC. So Gelman had to know, all the powers that be had to know, and Michael. And if Michael didn't feel close to her, I can understand why he didn't tell her.
Or maybe he was told not to say anything.
Not to say anything, right?
Yes.
But she took it out, the way it came out, she took it out on Michael. And I wish that in this book, she took the time to say, in reflection, upon reflecting on this, I didn't handle this well. I'm sorry that it was so contentious, and I see that he was put in a rough spot, and maybe I could have handled it better. But she doesn't even touch it. And it's like, this was a big story. She missed an opportunity.
Hey there, wasn't that great? Do you know where you can find some equally good content? Our YouTube page. It's filled with discussions, debates, and some laughs. Head there now, like and subscribe.